Here we are with another Friday Night Live, July 2nd, 2021. And away we go. It's a beautiful day, sunshine, thunderstorms. Let's see if we're working on Facebook here. One sec. Here we are. Okay, she's working there. And let's start that. And away we go. Let's see if this works. So I can see the questions here. Alrighty. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. We are really making progress in the limitless realms, that's for sure. We continuously elevating souls to peace, balance, correct conduct, even though we may not see things taking place immediately in this physical realm. We must remain patient. Just like when we move into a new lifestyle for health, we may not see things happening immediately, and we just remain patient and continue with our focus, our trust, and our faith. And we know everything will be all right, because it always does when you move in that direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. Let's see if got any questions coming in here. Is this thing working? Yeah, I think it is. It's very interesting times that's upon us. I'm seeing so many things that are not making any sense at all. And, it's just that the fear has been placed upon humanity at such a great scale for such a long time now. And it's really affected so many people. I've seen people in the so-called natural health movement fallen trap into the fear and given in to do things they normally would not do. This is what we call the Luciferian satanic agenda. Is at play at a large scale, and it's been at play for thousands of years. And they know their time is running out. Their time is up. So they're going to push forth with all their might to try and do what they cannot do because their time is up. We've entered the era of knowledge and light, Aquarian age. And we just have to embrace it because it's here, it's upon us. We have the new understanding of peace, balance, correct conduct, and how to allow the soul to work in autopilot. It's just magical when you step into that realm with all your trust and see amazing things unfold. But even with the physical being witness to the physical changes, it's still not enough for most people. What I've experienced in the 30 plus years of being in this kind of lifestyle. And it's puzzling but interesting at the same time to watch how things of deception take over our lives. It's loss of words sometimes to describe what we're feeling. This is affecting all family, friends, and everybody around us. I I believe we will get through this, but there's going to be some more challenging times ahead of us. It's just, everything is the way it's supposed to be. There's lessons to be learned on all levels. And let's embrace them and stay focused. We will get through this without doubt. And if our physical experience has to come to an end, so be it. We'll be on the other side where we will return to where we came from. Since we launched the Master Fast system, we've seen tremendous changes around the whole planet with this new understanding. And it's been a blessing to watch the amazing transformations unfold for, many thousands of people. But short-lived for a lot of people. Short-lived because there's no drama in continuing on the path of peace, balance, correct conduct. The stimulants are not there, and we are being bombarded by all that stuff continuously, 24/7, unless we are living in a complete natural environment away from city life and all its stimulants. Cup of tea.
Hi, Barbara.
So if there's nobody to ask any questions, I don't know what to say anymore. Um,
You take a break today, maybe.
John, 5G makes me say 5Gs. Never works when I TY to talk with my friends. Try to talk to my friends.
Yeah, Heather, we do our best, right? Yeah, sorry. Oh, thank you, Barbara, sweetheart. Heather, you're saying we need to create our own reality.
Exactly. But there are things that will come into play that we all are needing to experience, and that's why certain things will happen, because there's many at play creating realities, and all these um, many billions of realities are interreacting with each other, which creates the reality that is coming to play. So we need to be in a high field strength state so we can empower the weaker fields and draw them to the side of peace, balance, correct conduct. And we need to continue doing that over and over and over. That's why you're saying, we need to create our own reality. And if we let our guards down to the lower fields, they will overcome us, because it's so easy to get drawn into those lower fields realm of that laziness and that path of least resistance. Peace, balance, correct conduct is an effort every single day, making that choice to go down that path. And it's not an easy path for the most part, especially in the world we live in today. Just look at the planet around us, how much we as humanity have bombarded this beautiful Mother Earth and the animal kingdom, and the ocean life, and all the other wonderful beings on this planet. So, um,
Yeah, I like to say, to make a comment about creating our own reality. I believe we do have a will to choose, but I feel the ultimate will is up to the creator, and it's our responsibility. I believe it's important for us to be humble enough to ask our creator to guide us, because he is the ultimate creator. We can choose our own uh, with our will, but I believe ultimately the creator um, um, is the one who is making the, I would say, ultimate decisions, kind of. I mean, he's the ultimate creator, basically, right? So uh, it's really up to the divine, but we do have a will. We have the power from the divine. The spirit that we have is from the divine, and the ultimate is the divine, right? And so it's important for us to be humble enough to ask. There are different names for our creator. In English, it's God. To ask God to guide us. So this humbleness is very important, because we can only do so much. Um, we can always do something. We can always do something as long as we're alive, as long as we're breathing. We can always do something. And most of us are not even close to doing our best, which is great, because there's so much that we can do. I mean, imagine you have done your best and that's it. I don't think we can ever do our best, really. That would be perfection, right? But we can just strive to do our best. And we are not here to be perfect, anyways, but we are here to strive to do our best and strive to be perfect. Yeah, like the divine. Um, the divine is perfect. Yeah, so I feel that that's important to note. I hear many people say, and I actually used to listen to many spiritual teachers who would say we create our own reality. I would say to a degree. I wouldn't say 100%. I know many people today, especially I feel, especially in the Western world, do say that we are like 100% creators of our own realities. I would say this is a big thing to say. It's quite big. In alignment with the divine will, we do our best. We can do our best. We can strive to do our best. Neither no other road. Um, yeah, yeah, when we ask the divine order anything, we ask for it, um, for if not in alignment, it won't work.
In line with divine will.
Now that,
News
yeah,
and-
yeah, I believe the divine is definitely, we are from the divine, but I believe the divine is separate. The divine is way, it's a bigger force than us. It's like much higher force than us. Um, so there is a little bit of separation there, which is totally fine. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like being born. Sometimes I say, you know, when you're born the second child, you are usually more humble than the first child, because the first child gets a lot of attention, and the second child is just born with the first child, you know, like it doesn't, it knows that it doesn't, it's just born like that. The attention is already divided, you know. So we are definitely, I like, you know, like we are definitely not the divine, I would say, you know. Some people would say we are, I say we are separate, but we are from the divine. Our spirit comes from the divine, and everything about us comes, even our physicality, of course. Um, yeah.
I say we're all connected. We can't be separate.
Can we talk more about that? We're all connected. We are connected because we have the spirit from the divine, but we are at the same time separate. The divine is everything.
We have individuality.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So we are separate that way. But God is beyond that, and you and I. It's just beyond. Right? God is everything. The divine won't allow me if I pray for the guidance. It directs. You don't know what
It is.
it is. The divine won't allow me if I pray for guidance.
John Baker, thank you for the information. Thank you. You're welcome. Heather, it depends if you emerge with divine or ego. Absolutely. Divine won't allow me if I pray for guidance. It directs. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, but you see that the merging with the divine, like it's almost the same level, but no, we will never be the same level as God, in my opinion. I believe God is beyond humanity. It is beyond us. Our spirit can be, like you can say, in line, yeah, but merging like almost equal level, no. I would say no. The divine is a much higher force. Yeah, I am that I am. You see, this is I would say this is more like modern spiritual way of thinking, whereas Eastern way of thinking, I would say they do see the divine as definitely a higher force. It's like I think maybe in modern spirituality we say our higher self, you know, our higher self. um, I guess that's what they mean by a higher force, you know. Yeah, we never know what the outcome is, of course, so we always have to ask for guidance. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, you know. At the end of the day, I mean, it's just amazing, and you can ask the most the people with a strong foundation since they are kids, you know, um, like following a structured spiritual practice, and you can see the love and peace in them, and their devotion, and like they wouldn't mind dying for the divine, you know, like, and that's like sacrificing their life if they have to. You know, most of the time we don't have to, but if they have to, they don't care. Like this is how much they gave themselves up to the divine, always standing up for the truth no matter what. Of course doing your best to protect yourself, but always standing up for the truth. And I believe that's absolutely amazing. And I only see it in people who are very devoted to a spiritual practice, and I've seen many of them back in the Middle East, but also here as well. Some Christians Very few, I would say, in the cities, in modern, most people actually, I would say, in the West are not in any way, shape, or form built on a strong foundation. I mean, you can see the families how we're separated. Unfortunately, the majority of the families, especially in the West, because they don't have a strong foundation, they allow um, basically the devil to come and destroy the family. Any small little, like, we blame the destruction of the families on the system. Why do we have to even obey that kind of garbage or corruption if we know it's corrupt? We have a responsibility to stand up and say, no, no, this is not my way. This is not what I know in my heart is the truth. And so I'm going to do what I believe is right, following the strong foundation that I know. But the majority of us have put the strong foundation aside, and focused on making a living, I guess, which is a big entrapment in this corrupt system, in my opinion. It's not designed to make us healthy. It's designed to make us stressed and follow and just put maybe money as a priority in this life, and it's really, really stressful. And it's very important, for everyone to find their happiness, to find what gives them life, and it's definitely not making money necessarily as the priority. It's going to be much more than that. Yeah. I believe we can be equal to Christ, who is also God. That's old-fashioned. Yeah, yeah. You see, okay. The Christians, some Christians, do believe that Jesus is God. Um, to me, I believe Jesus is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful prophet and messenger. He's in my eyes, he's a human being. Um, but he has, of course, the miracle birth and the uniqueness of that. No other human being had that. So he had definitely uniqueness. He's special and very different from everybody else who was created. Um, he was created the way Adam was created. The spirit was blew into Adam and also into the Christ, basically, through his mom. Yeah, fundamental Christian. Yeah, yeah. Souls have contracts, which means I believe everything is already written, right? It's another way of saying he is merged with the divine, the source. He said, "It is not me." Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I don't believe. I know that the Bible did not mention anywhere that Jesus is God, or that Jesus asked us to worship him. This is a fact that it's not mentioned in the Bible that Jesus did not ask us to worship him, and so he did not think he's divine, but he definitely is definitely a special human. So as Muhammad also is a beautiful prophet. All of them before Muhammad, all the prophets. Some are mentioned in our holy books, at least in Quran, and some are not. But all of them are beautiful. The Jews had so many prophets, and they were all beautiful. They came here to remind us and to give us the message to worship the divine, the one and only. And they did not ask us to worship them. Yeah, it's beyond us, I would say, the divine power. Yes, you cannot put something together. The divine is done. The contract, no matter what the religion says. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe the religions are, man-made in a way, because they, they were given names after the prophets, um, after the prophets, um, like Christianity after Jesus passed. Islam was is basically just, it just means absolute submission to God, and according to Islam, all the prophets were Muslims, meaning they surrendered to God. Absolute submission to God is the meaning of Islam, and it's not there's systems, right? There are laws. Every prophet came with certain laws for the community, and that they came for, and it's just so beautiful. Just discipline, right? Praying and fasting and helping the poor, and it's just the whole thing, you know. Sacrificing yourself to the desires that are um, sinful, you know, that are materialistic, and that distract us from the truth, from the divine. When the spiritual resonance is not equal, a family cannot stay. Absolutely, it creates, absolutely creates great suffering, 100%. I mean, there is nothing more beautiful for me than watching a beautiful family who is all, you know, has a strong spiritual foundation with the divine being a priority. Um, you know, just imagine, it's like having a church in your home 24/7. Yeah, it's a way of life. It's not just going to church on Sunday, but it's like the fundamentals are right there in your home. And when I say church, I don't mean anything bad for some people who are, you know, some people who have negative um, uh, you know, negative attitude towards places of practicing worshiping God, unfortunately, for whatever reason. Um, what I mean is, you know, when churches are like here in Master Fast, we're coming together, we're communicating about fasting or about anything that is helping us fast, which is, for example, now we're talking about spiritual practice, which is very important to help us stay focused on fasting and benefit from it. Right?
Divide and conquer's been the plan for thousands of years, and they've mastered it. Look at today, more than ever, divorce rates have skyrocketed in the last year and a half.
Because the families are broken.
They've attacked the family unit, as we've talked about. Women's Lib was a direct attack to the family unit. That start was where, when was that? It was in the 50s, 60s when it started. You know, they just kept going and going and going with that plan until where we are today. You know, and divorce, if you look at all the each decade from those times, it just kept increasing and increasing, increasing, increasing. So their plan worked brilliantly to divide and conquer and attack the family unit and separate and divide. And now there's division in so many different things in just past year and a half. That's dividing people. When there's a strong spiritual foundation with the divine, you'll never see this happen. There won't be any division. So what have they done? By doing that, you've attacked the concept of believing in the greater being, divine God, and you know, bowing down to that greatness. And this is why they get away with divide and conquer so easily. They are masters of deception, and they are masters at mind control. And now, more prevalent than ever, we can witness how they've mastered that. The evidence is right before our eyes, like never before, how well they've mastered it. And it's very, very sad to see. But it's as we have always said, the answers are in plain sight. They've been using symbolism for thousands of years, and it's across all platforms and all levels on this planet, through all paperwork, all, you know, corporations. corporations, governments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So for anybody who, doesn't know anything about symbolism, just look up, symbolism that the Illuminati use and stuff like that. And you'll start looking at symbols with a different eye from corporations and so on and so forth. It's plastered everywhere.
My family is split.
My family split because that was the divine plan. We didn't go together spiritually and had to take the fearless route. My ex couldn't go with me. He was too scared. Well, yeah.
Loving money more than God. Yeah. Yeah. Most people, unfortunately, sometimes I say worship money. I feel many people in the West, honestly, they do almost worship money. It's pretty sad.
The money thing, it gets scary because why? Because we don't have trust in the divine plan. And we feel that without money, we're not going to be able to survive. And that's what continuously drives us to, worship money, I guess, and make that our priority instead of worshiping the divine God, creator, source of all, and moving in the direction of peace, balance, and correct conduct at all costs. Loving money more than God. Yeah, exactly. So, money's a really, it's a really funny thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I have strong feelings with it because I know that's one of the main tools they've used. It's paper in general, the legal system, laws, and money, all paper. And that's what they've used to enslave us all and manipulate us and mind control us and so on and so forth. So when we see through all that, it's a very challenging place to be living in society in general, and especially when you're living in a city. What are you going to do without money? There's bills coming out of a yin yang everywhere you turn. You have to pay.
That's why you have to learn how to become more.
So that's why we are promoting and supporting the lifestyle of less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Start learning how to appreciate living with the least amount of things that you absolutely, that you don't need. Use only the things that you are necessary in your life to sustain your life in a healthy, beautiful way. So before I miss one here, John, I don't know the true meaning of it, but the English interpretation of the Bible is only interpretation of the Bible. It is not written in English.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly, Heather. So they don't believe the higher teachings. Yeah. It's unfortunate most don't know the options of yogi and don't seek higher than the material realm. Amen from John. Yep. None of us have all the answers, but as we keep saying, we all truly do have the answers when we go within. We all have that place that we can connect with the divine source through our soul.
We are born with it.
We wouldn't be here without it because we come from that. So the more we spend some time practicing that and connecting, the more we will have that understanding, and the more we can have faith and move more and more in that direction.
Yeah.
Yogi, they teach you how to go within, right? Mm-hmm. All the different religions have their own different systems and so on and so forth. Which is focused a lot on family life for the most part in a lot of religions. And also in yogi, there's many aspects of levels. What is it? The 8 branches of yogi from Patanjali? I can't remember now. It's been a while. The physical exercise part is just one small aspect of yogi. Yogi means union. So of course, union, family is about union, family, union, union with your friends, co-workers, and of course, immediate family members and partners. Hi, everyone from Anna. Hello. So yeah, we are in a very, very
Interesting.
interesting, challenging time right now. It's a spiritual war for our souls. They've been.
It's a wake up call too, which is a
It's a big
blessing.
wake up call. Yeah,
It's a blessing, really.
it was a much needed time. I don't think we're ever going to go back to what is we've known as normal there, because that was not normal.
That was not normal.
We need to move into the direction of peace, balance, and correct conduct at all costs. We've been talking about this for 6 years in Master Fast.
It is overdue big time, right? The change.
And all the religions and so on and so forth have been talking about it for thousands of years. So it is what it is, and we need to embrace the change. We need to have faith that everything is going to be perfect and beautiful, and we're going to get back to a place of divine light, and that's going to go through all our hearts, and make this planet the place that we are all desiring truly in our hearts. And I want some herbs tinctures. Just Master Fast website, masterfastsystem.com. Go into the shop and order what you like. If you need any help with that, we're here to help. MFS tinctures are the best that we know of. We made sure of it through a lot of effort, and it's getting more and more and more challenging every year to work with herbs as far as making them and selling them. The prices have skyrocketed on everything under the sun around the world, and it's becoming more challenging. The regulations are getting more difficult every time. They're trying to take away anything that is of divine source and natural. Let's put it that way. That's what the goal is. So, learn about the herbs that grow in your area, because if it ever gets shut down that we can't access herbs, buy herbs anymore, at least we can have the knowledge of the herbs that grow locally. You can buy books, and there's also, I think, apps for that you can use to recognize certain herbs and what they're good for and so on and so forth. But the herbs that grow local within a few blocks of where you live are going to be very powerful for you. So learn how to collect those, and you start using them in your teas and stuff. They're available everywhere on the planet, pretty much. I think even the desert has some growth, so
I'm sure
you can find.
They have dates, so why wouldn't they have herbs?
Anna, yes, exactly. Heather, yes, union with God, source, meditation, not stretches. Yeah, I like the exercise part because I put myself in a meditation in motion state. That's what I love to do, and it's not about the physical exercise. It's about more
movement helps
getting into the state. Yeah, the movement is great, and it's going to help us all. That's why we say keep moving at all costs and never stop.
Postures are part of prayer. For example, in Islam, when you put your head down, you're putting your head down, you're inverting your body, right? All these postures are important, and in yoga, it's just amazing in yoga because you're doing all these kind of you're challenging your body physically, but also spiritually. It all works together, right?
So we highly recommend get yourself a Wild Edible Plants book and download some information. Have it available. It's always better to be prepared. We've been, talking about people getting ready, store extra water, extra food for at least 3 to 6 months. We may be longer than that, and if we never need it, that's okay. We'll use it up eventually, right? So it's no big deal. But These are the basic things that most people take for granted and don't do. Um, you know, it's uh, it's not easy to um, want to put energy towards that, but we just have to do it, like, making deposits in our bank for that rainy day. That's it. So having food supplies and so on and so forth. For us, lots of juice, lots of herbs, and so on and so forth. So not going to really worry about the food aspect so much because we know that food is not necessary when you're able to get the body and the mental and emotion states on a low obstructive state, so that you can easily live on the fields if we had to.
Yeah, we all know here on Master Fast, people who have done Master Fast all know that you can definitely live on it, and especially people who have done it for a while, um, they know that they can live on it, and actually not only live but thrive better than ever in their lives, and see more and more transformations. The more we fast, the more we transform, you know. um, to a certain extent as well, because I would say fasting goes a long way, but only like it's limited unless you have, I would say, very important to have a strong spiritual foundation, and practice, because without that it becomes materialistic, right? We can start, maybe focus on the number of days, and then what? It's a lifestyle, so you might
Fasting
get
is
bored.
first and foremost a spiritual journey.
Yeah, we might get bored if we just do it for the sake of fasting. And once you're bored, you want to do something different. So what's different? Food is different, from fasting.
3 decades ago, I understood that, and I jumped in with open arms and embraced it. And I continued and continued and continued and continued and continued to this day.
Honestly, yeah. One thing, I know some people complained, or actually many people who have done the long fasts, long master fasts, have complained about, is that they were bored. And for me, honestly, um, I, you know, I always wanted more time to do stuff. And when you're fasting, you definitely have much more time to do stuff. So I'm not really bored, and I don't think the other people who say they're bored are bored, but they're just not sure what to do with their time. So yeah, so I think,
Time to take up new hobbies that you never had time for.
oh, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing to have more time. It means like longer life, because you have more time. It's like living longer, but you're not living longer. You just, or maybe
You are living a lot longer.
also living longer because you're healthier.
More hours awake.
But it's also, yeah, more hours awake, and also more hours you're not cooking, you're not shopping, you have more energy. You're not tired. When you're tired, you want to sleep. So yeah, it's really boredom. It's more like, because you're doing the same thing and you want to do something different. Maybe the routine. You want to break the routine because it's just too simple. And we humans love to complicate things, right? When life is too simple, we feel like we want to complicate life a little bit. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Yeah. Yeah, when things are too simple, we love to complicate stuff.
Complicate. Confusion, the master of deception, confuse.
We were talking about,
The
yeah.
force that is there to conquer and divide and conquer. I call it also the gift of the gab, Luciferic intellect, etc., etc.
Yeah, I like to say something about the Lucifer. Now, Lucifer is Lucifer, and Lucifer is maybe the smartest thing that was created by God. Okay.
And that's that the ignorance is where that energy will fall. You can't win.
Right. So we have to remember that Lucifer was created by the divine, and the divine is definitely the smartest, the everything, you know. So Lucifer can only be so smart, and we come from God. We have the spirit in us, and we have the power to be connected. When we connect to God, we come closer to God, in my opinion. When we become closer, we get some of that power, right? And so Lucifer cannot touch us. Lucifer cannot touch us. Lucifer will give up on us. You know, that negative energy is going to give up.
The Luciferic intellect is that ego, that poor shit consciousness, and deceives us over and over and over again.
If we are weak.
Yeah.
If we are weak, we allow it. So we ultimately must take responsibility for being deceived, because we allowed to be deceived. Just like with health, that's just like with everything, really everything. Our monetary system, if we know something is corrupt and we're participating, we're not doing anything about it, then what are we doing? We're allowing it to control us. Really everything in life. Family function, the family structure, we can't blame it on the system. The system is weak. The system is corrupt. How can we base our lives on something that's corrupt? We must have a strong foundation, and that's where I say a strong spiritual foundation, where definitely Lucifer has no space. Now, it will try its best, like let's say it's a family of 4, right? Lucifer will try to infiltrate. If it's not the mother, the father, then the kids, you know, it will always, you know, no family is perfect. That doesn't exist, but you can see some beautiful family who has a strong structure because of the strong spiritual foundation. That's the only time I see a strong family. I don't see a strong family otherwise. Otherwise, it's materialistic, in my opinion, and it needs, if they care, a strong foundation. Yeah, it's
the Luciferic intellect. I'm not talking about the devil. I'm talking about the.
It is the devil.
The Luciferic intellect.
Well, Lucifer is the devil.
Yeah, but the Luciferic intellect is not referring to the devil.
Yeah, the people who are deceived,
it's
right?
Referring to that Mammon believes that they know better.
Yeah, so the people who allowed Lucifer into their hearts.
Instead of looking upon and humbling ourselves to the divine source creation and nature and the universe, we believe that through our materialistic science that we have figured it all out. And it's furthest thing from the truth. I give you a perfect example of why science is gatekeeping, and it always has been. If I am a company and you are a scientist, and I come to you and I say, I need this, and that study happening. If that study doesn't come out my way, am I gonna hire you again?
Yeah, so they don't make it that they don't make it like that when they come to scientists, because I used to be in research. Basically, what they do, they tell you, we have a grant of $1 million, right? And basically,
spend it.
if you spend it doing this research for us, so they really make it so like they are kind of, you almost worship them, right? So what do you think?
Same thing I just said.
Yeah, so you like they make
it
that they are so important that you almost like worship. I mean, my goodness, all these sales representatives from pharmaceutical companies, you know, some of the most well dressed, and it's like, I mean, why do you have to be so like and have a plastic surgeries and look so like attractive? Like I don't know, like I guess sexually attractive, why? you know yeah, you're selling drugs, this is for people's health. Why
Deception.
do you have to? Yeah.
It's all about
And
deceit.
they get paid so well. Forget the scientists are poor. They're the poor people. A person like I used to work with post PhD uh, people, people who have PhD and are doing post PhD in the labs, and this means they have been in, like, some of them were in science studying and being postdoc for like 15, 20 years, and their stipend or their salary is some of the lowest of all the people who work in Canada, basically. It is really ridiculous to see some of these people who are dedicated to their books and researching and trying hard to find information to help humanity being paid the least, So who the salespeople are getting the money? Who is getting, um, who is getting the paid well in this society? And the business people, what is this? It is very corrupt, but it's okay, whatever. That's the system that most people chose, and we have to pay for the corrupt system that we have chosen. We have partially created,
John Baker, my 5-year-old son's cartoons are all sexualized on YouTube. Absolutely, they've been all Disney stuff. Everything has it all plastered throughout. It's always been like that. It's about programming exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all done at the subconscious level, and the outcome is what we're seeing today at a mass scale. So yeah,
Homosexuality, they're making it normal, among kids. It's what kind of society is this that we're allowing? You know? Yeah, it's all programming. Yep. I mean, we love all people and we respect all people. This is nothing. But if it comes to my child, I want to make sure that they have a strong foundation if I send them to school, that the school is built on a strong foundation. Otherwise, the kid is staying home. I'm not sending my kids to be programmed with nonsense. You know? And like I guess they call it respect. No, that's not respect. That's brainwashing. There's a difference between respect and brainwashing. Just because you're not angry, that doesn't mean you're respectful. I'd rather be angry at a brainwashing than quiet and respectful, I guess. It's so easy to see brainwashing for all of us, to see brainwashing when we see the truth, in our hearts. The truth is in our hearts. Sometimes you see it, but we don't have the courage to stand for it because we're being respectful, not angry. No, please be angry if you have to defend the truth.
Definitely, Heather. It's the stuff that I've seen in the last several years has been absolutely diabolical. It's sad, and the only way for it to change is we, the people. We have the power.
But we can't also
just say no.
We can't necessarily rely on each other as well, because people are not our responsibility, right? We do our best to help each other. We can always strive to do that, but ultimately we have to first help ourselves individually, and then the family structure, which is broken, and then we go out. We don't even need to go out. Hopefully, when just be nice to other people, and people will maybe come and ask you. So we don't need to say much. But if we see something wrong outside, I will definitely want to do something about it. I'm not gonna just sit down.
Heather, it's the Luciferic agenda where everything's inverted. What's good is bad. What's bad is good. What's black is white. What's white is black. This is the whole thing. It's all deception, and this is what's being pushed out at a mass scale these days. So we're seeing the outcome today more than ever of how it's being pushed upon us, and either stand for truth or you don't. Um, it's it is what it is. I don't know what to say.
Like if you see an old man being beaten up outside, you're gonna do something about it, right? You're not gonna just sit down. I mean, definitely we have to help each other that way. You have to always help the oppressed, in my opinion. I mean, you don't have to do anything, but for me, I have to help the oppressed. I feel it's part of my spiritual foundation. If I see a child, now if it's a parent, the parent knows better than me, right? So I would talk to the parent. If I see the child being abused, I'm not gonna call the freaking police. But I would talk to the parent and I would calm down the parent if I can help. But ultimately, it's the parent who takes care of the child, in my opinion. But if it's an elderly or a stranger, the beating up or then definitely I want to do something about it myself. We have to help each other this way. We're not used to that. Yeah. Force in our faces. Man, woman walking around topless.
Yeah, it's everywhere, Heather.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty sad.
Perversion.
That's not equality at all. I mean, come on.
Perversion has nothing to do with divine.
Please don't make me equal to a man. I don't want to be equal to a man.
Balance and correct conduct is my humble opinion. But anyway, people can do as they please as long as they don't force their views or beliefs on anybody else. If you want to do something in your own private rooms, go for it. Don't push it upon anybody else.
I want to have the rights of a woman, not a man. And you know what? In my opinion, the rights of the woman are more than the rights of a man. We are to be treated better than a man, even. We are more sensitive. So women are to be treated better than a man. At least that's in my spiritual foundation. That's it. And that's why I love it for women. For women, honestly, it makes a huge difference for me, the spiritual foundation. Because you are absolutely loved and respected.
They're after our souls, Heather. They are after our souls. If we go back to biblical times and read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, everything comes full circle. It's here again. Very clear, if we can't see it. Sodom and Gomorrah is everything, where everything goes. And what happened to that? It's completely destroyed by the divine creator, as the story goes, because he did not like what had happened. The Spirit of God has left and divided the family units. And for the most part, on a big scale, people have left the God with a capital G, O-D, and embraced the new science with a small G, O-D. That's their new God. The white jacket is the new God. And if we can't see it, it's in plain sight.
The white jacket, but also,
as we say, the answers are always in plain sight. And why do we think that so many people have such a challenging time with a fasting lifestyle. Why?
There's no strong foundation.
There's no strong foundation. They don't have any spiritual values of a divine source of God, and they will fall on their face every time because why? All the emotions will come right into your face, all those mirrors of truth. And they're not ready to handle that because
Especially when they eat, huh? After a long fast.
we have not been, what's the word I'm looking for?
Trained.
Trained little by little over our, from our childhood up into adult life to be able to handle these situations and face them head on and move through them and come out stronger. So most people fall on their faces. We've seen it over and over and over again. And that's why we say, whoa, we got to back off here. This is way too powerful for where people are at as a whole, as humanity. Way too powerful. So, baby steps and learn how to fast and break the fast over and over and over again. Start training yourself. Start remembering where you came from, the light, and start allowing that light to penetrate your heart and expanding and overflowing yourself in your life and your family life and everywhere that everybody you see and touch and feel in every aspect, so that light continuously flows out of you, and you'll that light will get stronger and stronger and stronger as you live a spiritual lifestyle. A spiritual lifestyle that where the divine source creator is above and over everything else in this material false plane that we are so entrapped on all levels. So the mockery of God, the mockery of God with a capital G, uh, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty sad, man.
it's we are in very very interesting times, and we just see that um, the spiritual path is one of is a lonely path in a sense of numbers on social media. You're not going to see any big popularity. And that's all we've been pushing on pushing. That's all we've been supporting the Master Fast. And once people got a dose of their drama, they run the other way, and you don't see them anymore. You know, so we're not supporting drama, and that's why we are where we are, and we will continue on the path of peace, balance, correct conduct as best we can. We make mistakes like everybody else. We're not perfect, and I hope that
Yeah, we do
people
make
can
mistakes.
appreciate
There's no question.
what we're doing, because what's out there is all materialistic stuff. We've always said it's all about the fields. It's all about higher order. Always go back into the beginning of Master Fast. Go back through all the videos. Go back to all that. We've discussed a lot of things and who, what, where, when, and how, and why in the what to do in the physical aspects of the fast, but also the support system and everything behind it, and how we got to connect to the fields and support that and support each other in those fields at all costs, because you're not going to sustain yourself in a fasting lifestyle any other way. It's not going to happen. The proof has been in the pudding for the past 6 years like never before. I've been at this 30 something years, and I've only seen it get worse.
A few years ago, when I started, I started praying because I got inspired through the Master Fast, actually going with an emotional, a woman who helped me with emotional healing a little bit 3 years ago. And I was meditating 5 times a day, just like the Islamic prayer times, right? But I was just meditating, I was not praying. And the lady told me, well, Rana, why don't you go back to your prayers that you used to do as a kid? I was like, you know what? Yeah, because I'm meditating anyways, so I might as well pray. So I started praying, and I was like, wow, this is deep. This is much deeper. And I started praying, and I started fasting Ramadan with the master fast as well. So I had it all incorporated. And it's been 3 years, and I started, because it's inevitable when I practice. I like to talk about my practice, just like I talk about master fast, and it's spiritual practice, so I talk about it on master fast. And some of the posts were more about God and spirituality um, and religion, because that's religion is a man-made name, a man-made word, I guess, but it's really the system, the spiritual foundation that I follow. And I started getting criticism from mostly people in the West, because most of the people on Masterfast and Facebook are in Western countries, and they're not used to the word God. They're not used to the word. They don't like the word religion, and if you mention the word Islam, which means absolute surrender to God, it's a big turnoff. And we have people say, "Oh, you need to stop talking about that, otherwise, yeah, because I'm turned off." And I was like, "What is this? This is absolutely ridiculous. If something is helping you with fasting, you know, a spiritual practice, please do it, you know." And why would you be turned off? I mean, as I said, the most beautiful families that I have ever met are the ones who have a strong spiritual foundation, and that says it all. I haven't seen other families like stronger families. I haven't. I would love to. I haven't, and I totally see why. The Mennonites, the Christian Mennonites that we saw, we used to see here sometimes in gatherings, and it's just when I saw them, I was like, Gino, these people are beautiful. They're so pure. I said, what are they? What do they follow? They looked so pure. Like their hair was done like almost uniform, right? All of them doing their hair in a certain way. And it's very simple and very elegant too. They're dressed in a certain way, like there's no one showing off, like they're all equal, it looked to me. And they seem just so soft. The women, it's just so beautiful. And I was absolutely amazed. So I asked, who are these people? What do they follow? He's like, they're Christians, it's another
Mennonites,
Mennonites, yeah.
the Amish.
I love it. It's just so beautiful, the purity. And you can see when somebody is following the truth and someone is not following the truth. Nobody's perfect, but we help each other, and that's the importance of a community, in my opinion. Like the Mennonites, they form a community, right? And they help each other. Alone, it would be very hard. Fasting alone would be hard, like Master Fast alone would be hard. Practicing your, spiritual practice alone is hard too. And that's what in my opinion, in a family structure, what makes a family strong is this kind of community support inside your home. Imagine, even if you don't have kids, just a husband and wife on the same page. That's a community. Like if I see Gino do wrong, I would tell him, Gino, that was wrong. And if he's connected, he would say, yes, you're right. That is wrong. And when you acknowledge that what you did is wrong, then you can change it, right? And I would love for also Gino to tell me when I do wrong, instead of judging each other, oh, you're this and oh, you're that. We shouldn't do that. I would love for us to support each other. So you come to me and tell me, Rana, well, that was wrong and maybe disrespectful. It's fine, we're not perfect. And and hug each other. Like it's okay to do wrong. There's nothing wrong with doing wrong. But it's important for us to be humble enough to acknowledge it and hug each other. Like I believe Hans Peter mentioned to us that when in the natives, when someone does wrong, what they do is they come together like the community, and they support that person, that man or woman, who did wrong. They support them. They give them love instead of judgment. Instead of judgment, they give them love, and I believe that's how we are able to acknowledge each other, to acknowledge our mistakes and our wrongdoing and improve. It's really the judgment that hurts us.
Humans love drama. That's for sure, Heather. I grew up like that, but these religions think they are the only ones. It's immature consciousness. I agree. Heather, they only help their own. Yep. Christina, I am new to MFS. Thank you for what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to learning more about MFS so I can begin my journey. Welcome aboard, Christina. Simple. Just good place to start is reading the notice. Has all the links to the protocol and the shop and everything. And we are
here to support.
The Q&As on the
The Q&As are very helpful. FAQs.
Website, the MassFest website, so on and so forth. So that's a great place to start. And being on the live calls, can ask any questions that are not clear. That's why we're here and continue to be here for anybody who wants that. Heather, they also had a lot of stuff, sexual shame and judgment. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're talking about the Mennonites, I guess, right? I mean, they look beautiful. I'm sure, I think communities are different, and sometimes it's important for us to find the right community in every spiritual practice. I think it's important for us to find the one that feels true to our hearts. You will listen to many priests, you will listen to many sheikhs, you will listen to many rabbis, and some of them are sharing truth and some are not, unfortunately. Some are not. And in every way of spiritual practice, you will find some people are truthful and some people are not. So you just have to find the truthful ones, and the truthful ones are not the ones who would judge others, but who are putting God as a priority and going from there. We are not here to judge each other.
Hi, Lisa Bluff. Yeah, this is the problem with
communities.
The laws in a higher order. Is when you put humans in there, you got that judgment, the ego that interferes, and the interpretations and so on and so forth. And
but we're not supposed to be like that. Because all the prophets came with the same message: worship that one and only. Really. So the laws are a little bit different. The laws, because they came for different communities. But they're not that different. We are very similar. At least I know of, between the Christians and the Muslims, it is very similar. The only difference I would say that stands out from what Muhammad taught and what the Christians follow, not Jesus taught, but what we believe the Christians follow, is the worshiping of Jesus. That's the only thing. Otherwise, we absolutely love and adore Jesus and the truthful Christians for sure, and Jews as well. The truthful Christians and Jews and Muslims. I mean, my goodness, there are so many fake Muslims as well. But I would say in the Middle East, more people are devoted than here. They take it more seriously. They definitely take the practice a little bit more seriously than here.
They are forced to dress like that, and they bring studs from outside to mate with their daughters. I will not put sex on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Yep, conformity and indoctrination. It's the problem of man.
But communities are important. Okay, I mean, we're not supposed to separate from each other. We're all humanity. We're all the same. I mean, if you pray in the way that Christians pray or the Jews pray, and I pray the way Muhammad prays. It's okay, no big deal. You know, you can pray your way, and you can pray, you know, you pray Jesus' way, I pray Muhammad's way. Totally fine. I mean, that shouldn't make us different. But everything else is pretty much the same. Some people separate us, but we're not supposed to be separated.
Just watch children play. There's no separation until they've been taught to divide and hate, and etc., etc.
But even children, it's okay for them to pray in a different way. What's the big deal? Let them pray differently.
It's done through indoctrination.
Not really. You pray to the same Lord. Just because I speak Arabic and somebody else speaks another language, it doesn't make us different. We still worship the one and only.
There's a beautiful message in all the religions. Maybe not all of them, but all the main ones. There's some pretty whacked out ones.
Yeah, it depends what's the definition of a religion,
right? Christine, I'm learning a lot from compiling my questions. I think I have lots of beliefs about eating. We all do, colonics, fasting, etc. Your system speaks to me on a soul level. It's just something beyond my mental understanding, deep internal intuition. Yeah, it's not my system. It's just the information through my experiences that came out. Is Wednesday or for a Q&A session, both lives, Wednesday and Friday. I have done 7-day water fasting, and something very profound happened to me on all levels of being. I cannot explain it yet. It's a deep process of shattering beliefs, etc. Yeah, this is why we highly suggest, to choose one of the MFS levels to live in love. Start on level 2 for most people, and quickly try and move up to a level 3 would be the minimum, and then slowly start going from there to level 4 or 5, whatever. The eating is very, very deeply ingrained in all of us for thousands of years, that we believe we need to eat physical foods to nourish us, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. Once we nourish the emotion, you will never be physically hungry again. And because the nourishment comes through the fields of the soul. And the soul is what manifests our physicality. So if the soul can create the physicality, the soul can absolutely maintain the physicality as far as nutrition. You don't need to eat, as we all believe. Colonics is a whole other thing, where there's a lot of misunderstanding and think people belief systems about they're doing damage and all of that and so on and so forth. Another thing that
when you do it regularly, you completely appreciate it. Nobody does colon washing regularly and see it as a negative thing. Everybody sees it as a positive thing. It's the new people who are scared or who have, I used to think it's crazy when I heard about it. My sister used to do them years before I even heard of them. Years before I did them myself. And I used to think it's crazy. I used to tell her, you might die, She used to go to a colon therapist.
Yeah, so enema, just think about enema just like taking a shower.
Oh, it's much deeper than taking a shower. Much deeper.
Yeah, when we do externally, the other we do internally. That's all it is.
Right.
And fasting is the lifestyle, Christina, not eating. Fasting is the lifestyle. And once we gain that understanding, we will never, ever look at food the same, especially once we've been living the fasting lifestyle. We will know that food will never be the solution, no matter what diet.
And it's about the satisfaction. You will know, especially the more fasting that you do, like let's say, and by the way, you can start at whatever level you want. We support them all for anyone. But whatever you do, choose it as a lifestyle. Choose it as a lifestyle because that will change your like the way you think about it. If you choose it as just an event, like a long fast, then you will really not comprehend what a lifestyle means. You will break it and you'll be like, holy crap, it is not easy for me to break a fast. And it's actually dangerous to break a long fast the wrong way. And it's very easy to break a fast the wrong way. Ask us about it. Trust me, ask everybody almost on Master Fast. It's not easy at all to stick to the protocol when you break your fast and eat only fruits. It can be very challenging because you will feel like, okay, the fruits are not satisfying. So let me try this. Okay, that's not satisfying. Let me try. Okay, I might as well eat anything I want because nothing is satisfying. And I know only fasting is the way to go because it's the most satisfying. So I might as well eat whatever I want. I'm gonna start fasting again tomorrow. But when you do this, sometimes tomorrow never comes, and you keep going, and it's very hard. It can be very challenging.
Master Fast has shattered a lot of belief systems, opening up the dry fasting like never before, removing the concept of having to drink any water at all. That was another one that, we got smashed left, right, and center.
At the beginning.
Cooked juice, we got smashed for that. We got smashed for a lot of things. And, once people started implementing these ideas, from the experiences we had for over decades, they started seeing the profound effect it has. And we see it time and time again. Newbies, who've been fasting for a short period of time as a lifestyle for under 5 years, they make assumptions and mistakes of what they believe, because there's just not enough of the experiences that their understanding has expanded enough to know what's really going on. It takes time. It takes time. Like mastery takes decades of anything. And, a few decades, like we say, 9 years is a good start. It really is. The more time goes on in this lifestyle, the more we get surprised and amazed at the power of living a spiritual fasting lifestyle, because that's what it is always the spiritual lifestyle first, and embrace that our divine creator in all aspects when we live this lifestyle. Eating, we're all experts, Christina. All of us are experts, especially us coming from Italians, the Arabics, and many other cultures.
It's hard to.
They're all experts at eating, and so.
We also both come from raw foods before the Master Fast. He has 10 years experience with like 100% raw food, and I have experience with maybe 2 years of maybe 80% raw food, sometimes 100%. And that alone was a huge change from where we come from my culture, the way of eating. Like you're looked at as crazy, but then slowly with time we got into fasting, and that made us look even crazier. Crazier to our families.
This lifestyle brings a big resistance to society because it puts the mirror of truth in their face at the soul level, and people don't like to be confronted with that kind of stuff. Even just being around people without saying a word, their soul is getting a message because it's all in the fields. And I found this over the decades, to say less and less and less about my fasting lifestyle, because I've seen at the beginning when I want to share everything with everybody about how you can help yourself doing this, that, and people they weren't ready to listen to it, and they resisted a lot of people. So I just talked less and less and less about it. So going on social media was something I didn't want to do, but do it here in a private scale, in a private group. It grew much bigger and faster than I ever thought it would. It's very interesting, social media. because you get all kinds coming at you. But we love everybody, and especially the ones that resisted us the most and bashed us the most. We elevate their souls to peace, balance, correct conduct, because they just don't have the understanding that we have, going through many decades of this lifestyle. And we're just learning, just like everybody else. We've just scratched the surface at 3+ decades. Literally, we just scratched the surface. The miracles we've seen ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. Once people embrace this lifestyle for decades, then you're going to see real magic happen. Like I've, going through all the different diets and so on and so forth, and watching people go through many, many different diets. I've seen people going into diets and saying it's the greatest thing for a couple of years, and then they're on to the next one, and then that's the greatest thing for a couple of years or 3 years, and then they move on to the next one. The raw food lifestyle was the same thing. I've There's very, very, very few people that have lived decades long in a raw food lifestyle or a fruitarian lifestyle. Veganism is another thing where people move in and out of it, especially junk food veganism. Um, a lot of sick veganism, just like sick people in all different diets, because it's not about the diet. The diets aren't going to solve anything. The diets are only going to help you to the level of their obstructiveness. So if there's a much lower level obstructive diet than what you used to eat, you're going to gain, uh, you're going to lose, sorry, obstructions to that level, so the body can gain some health up to a point, and then you're on to the next one, because you
Yeah.
can't move forward much further than that, because there's plateaus with diets. All diets are plateaus. Uh, so
Yeah, I want to say also with fasting, it's definitely the most okay. Fasting, I was saying, like our family would think we're crazy with raw foods, right? And even more crazy with fasting. But I feel it is much easier for me to adapt to my family and for my family to adapt to me when I do a fasting lifestyle. Now, when I did the first long master fast, it was 108 days. Actually, my first master fast was 108 days, and huge transformations, but also a lot of weight loss, like never before in my life. And that scared the crap out of my family, my sisters and my dad. And basically, that stressed me out, especially towards the end of the 108 days. Um, so that was rough. But when I started eating, and yeah, it wasn't easy to break it. I didn't necessarily always eat the least obstructive food. I got extreme cravings and stuff like that, which most people would go through. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'll continue.
then why do we have a digestive tract? Who named the digestive tract? Man. The digestive tract is a plasma vacuum tube for field interaction. What is it for? We need food. I just explained that. I also started doing enemas regularly, but I got constipated afterward. Guess there's some sort of obstructions. Absolutely. Thank you for your answers. I'm so eager to learn. When people start moving into a lifestyle of fasting and start purging, all weaknesses come to the surface. So when you start getting constipated from doing enemas, it just shows your weaknesses are there, right? The digestive tract.
You would never get constipated from releasing obstructions.
The
Yeah, you would never get constipated. You would never get a constipation or obstruction. So it doesn't make sense. You get obstructed from releasing obstructions, which is enemas or colonics. It doesn't make sense to us at all. But what happens is when you're used to washing your colon and you stop washing your colon, yeah, you're gonna get more obstructed when you stop washing, because you're not releasing as many obstructions, right? So yeah, but doesn't make you like it shouldn't. It's not counterproductive.
Yeah,
It's
the GI tract is what 8 to 10 times our body length, so it's 30 something feet or whatever. So if you think about that, when it's completely full of food, eating 7 days a week, it's just completely backed up. So when you start washing it out,
You're releasing.
People think they're constipated is because their transit time so slow because they're eating so many meals per day, and it's just completely plugged up.
Yeah.
So it's not effective at moving things out. That's why we say our weaknesses come to the surface.
Why do we have digestive system? Okay, why do we eat? We eat for experience. And if you eat, you need a digestive system. Okay, go ahead.
I'm trained Buteco breathing specialist who love Dr. Buteco lifestyle. Less is more.
Amazing.
Fasting was one of the most important tools in his clinic in Moscow. Oh, really?
Yeah, we're big fans of Buteco.
I didn't know he was in fasting. I started 2 meals a day a year ago, inspired by breathing less to happen naturally. Yep. Then I did 7-day water fast recently. It helped me so much. I made mistakes after break my fast, so I could understand that breaking the fast extremely important. Absolutely.
Oh,
we don't even drink water, Christina.
Yeah, but imagine breaking 108 days. This was 7 days. 7 days is a baby compared to 108 days. Yeah. 108 days is you're releasing, especially with master fast, you're releasing a lot of obstructions. So if you put obstructive food into your body after 108 days, you're gonna feel it from head to toe, emotionally, spiritually, physically, everything. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah, our body's not made up of 80-90% water, as they say. It's made up of fluids, different. Yeah. So we don't drink water.
Definitely not city water, right?
We don't drink any water. We use water for washing,
or filtered
internal
water.
or external. And the only thing that we do is make the tea with it, which is a very small amount. We're not advocating drinking large amounts of tea either. 1 to 2 cups a day max on the wet days or eating days. So yeah,
it's like plants, in nature, plants are fed by the rain, right? They're not supposed to be artificially watered, right? It's similar, right? So we don't need to artificially keep drinking and drinking and drinking. If we don't really need to drink. We're not like the plants, really. We're not like the plants.
Thank you for answering my questions. I bet you're repetitive, but I got to start somewhere. Support is valuable. Christina, repetition is the mother of skill. You're just continuously talking about the lifestyle over and over and over. This is what it's all about. We love it. We love it. And we live the lifestyle. So we don't get bored of it. But a lot of questions are in the Q&As, and if you do some searches and stuff and all the past videos, yeah, it's a lot of information. And most people are not going to go through it all, but that's okay. That's why we're doing the live, so we can continuously support each other and inspire each other. That's really the key. Heather, how did you get back on food after 108 days?
Yeah, the protocol says to break it always with juicy fruits. So I did that, but then slowly I drifted away from the least obstructive food, and because especially if you're eating a fruit that doesn't taste great, then you'll be like, okay, now I feel like a salad, not a fruit. So you go more and more towards obstructive, unfortunately, if they don't have amazing fruits nearby, you might go to vegetables, which are a little bit more obstructive, or cooked vegetables, which are even more obstructive. Yeah, but then you find yourself adding salt, and then your body doesn't like it. Maybe nuts. Oh God, you can feel everything. Can you get fat from not eating? Well, it's not about getting fat from not eating. You can lose obstructions. We don't talk about so much about fat, but we see things as obstructions or not, right?
Do you mean getting fat or getting fats that your body needs? Because if you're talking about getting fats your body needs, your body is the only thing that can make fats. When you're taking them in from external sources, from matter, you're plugging yourself up. Fats are the most obstructive physical foods. As we say, only the body can. I forgot my saying.
The fats. Now, what happens?
Only the body can feed, hydrate, purge, build, and balance itself through soul from source. So once you understand that sentence, everything starts to change. The understanding really, really expresses itself with that sentence.
It feels
have-
like when we eat obstructive food, fats, which is very obstructive, some of the most obstructive foods are fat, I would say, more than protein. When we eat fat, like, I don't know, let's say oils and nuts and seeds and, go crazy like that, what happens is they're very obstructive. And I believe they get stored in our fat cells, the obstructions. And yeah, we get fat that way. But on the master fast lifestyle, especially like full master fast, you will start, you can start gaining, but I believe it will take time. It will take time until your body has released everything, or most of your obstructions. Then you can start building on no food. You can start building, especially if you start moving your body, because you have to get things moving. I believe when you move your body, you accelerate the transformation process, and you can start building faster, I believe.
um, yeah, fats
Otherwise,
are the most obstructive. They're stimulating, addictive. Probably one of the most addictive things.
especially
And
if you mix it with sugar, right? Fat and sugar.
yeah, so the consuming fats. If you're talking about, like I said, fats, can your body make the fats it needs? Absolutely. Just look at the CO2 kits, the GANs kits, plasma kits, and you can see the oily layer being formed on top of the water. That's the amino acids, the basis of all life forms on this planet.
But it takes time to build fat. I mean, it's not really fat. It's more like you're not gonna look fat, but you build your body. You're not gonna be thin, is what I wanted to say. If
Yeah,
that's what you meant, right?
Gaining fat is eating obstructive diet. That's all it is. How do you get the kidney to filter, drop the sludge, live a mass fasting lifestyle? Everybody,
Oh, yeah.
everybody living a fasted lifestyle started kidney filtration. Some within days, some within weeks, and some took months.
The more full master fast days, the more you will purge. Long full master fast, you will purge a lot of stuff.
The dry fasting is really the key to opening up the energy of the kidneys, because the kidneys are the chi, your life force, your energetic pump in the fields, and to get that to open up and start flowing, you need to live a spiritual fasting lifestyle.
A massive fast is a glorified
dry fast. No, getting more body mass from getting prana.
Yeah, exactly. So you would get body mass eventually, but your body has to release a lot of obstructions, and it might take a year.
Absolutely.
Of full master fast.
It might take 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
It might take 2 years.
We're not talking only about physical here. We're talking about physical, mental, and emotional. And the emotional is the key. The emotion, intent, and emotion is creation. So that's where we have to put all our focus on bringing balance to that. And then the other stuff is simple. So we do it through the physical, but the intent and emotion comes from the fields. Heather, I gained weight drinking lemon water and lemon watermelon. Yeah, sure.
Some breatharians say that dry fasting is hard on the kidneys, so my right kidney is compromised. Well, dry fasting, it has to be done the right way, right? We are master fast is quite strict with how much dry fasting to do. And
these are breatharians that drink
water.
Oh, whatever they drink.
Right.
If they're saying that dry fast is hard on the kidneys, the understanding being hard on the kidneys through subtraction is absolutely false in my understanding. It's the other way around. the weaknesses will be expressed big time when you start purging. Big time. So if you're compromised when you start dry fasting, it's because they are compromised and the weaknesses start coming to the surface. So if you're not using all the tools to help you move things out in the physical, mental, and especially emotional aspect, you're going to feel these things much more so, and people will interpret things as negative. The biggest challenge I've seen is people doing these long dry fasts and eating very obstructive diets, and that's going to be very, very, very hard on the system in general, on the physical, mental, and emotional bodies.
And
So
also you have to, even if you have to keep flushing, so like a sponge, right? So you wet, you have the wet days and then dry to release the obstructions.
yeah,
And
we
the
have the
wet,
dry to squeeze, and we have the
then
wet to
dry.
wash. Dry squeeze, wet to wash. If you understand that concept and its basicity, and you look at it in a physical, mental, and emotional, we're doing it all the way through. Then, as time goes on, you will see how the benefits start becoming expressed more and more and more. You're not going to be compromised. You're going to be thriving. It's absolutely opposite. So if they're only liquidarian, can you still be full of toxin after decades?
Who knows? Who knows? Depends what they're doing. If they're drinking water, the water can be toxic, right? It's really, who knows? I mean, it depends what
It's
people
not
are
only
doing.
about the physical, Heather. It's not only about the physical, and the answer is absolutely yes. If the emotion, people stop eating doesn't mean they're heavenly and pure and divine. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It will help move us in that direction, but only when our emotion, intent, and emotion is directed in that aspect fully. So it's not only about eating, not eating. It has to be the intent and emotion behind and driving that a factor. But as we've always said, can you build obstructions through your intent and emotion? Absolutely, absolutely. You don't have to be eating to build obstructions. If you have the understanding that it all comes from the fields, then you're looking at things in a materialistic way. If you don't look at everything through the fields, because everything comes from the fields. So
and I think that's where a strong spiritual foundation is important. But also I want to mention that liquidarian can mean anything as well, right? It can be soups with salt. It can be coffee. These things can be stimulating as well, right? And you want to get rid of stimulants when you're cleaning up.
I did some breatharian process, and the symptoms of food show up very quickly, amplified. The symptoms of food, what do you mean by that? How they affect you? My body reacts immediately from thought, even my age.
Yeah, like detox symptoms, I think.
Yeah,
my body reacts.
Absolutely. The more we deobstruct, the more sensitive we become. So that's interpreting that as being compromised is not correct. When you look at liquidarians, which people call themselves breatharians on liquid diet, that's actually liquidarian. And they're saying that dry fasting will compromise kidneys is because they don't have the understanding of living exclusively off the fields. There's probably less than a handful of people that are living off of the fields, meaning no food, no drinking. And that's a whole different realm.
Yeah.
And the few people that have done that, like I've done it in phases, and I've experienced it, so I know it's possible, but I still choose to eat here and there. So when you are allowing the body to go on fields and then you go back to liquids, you are putting into your psyche that you need physical materials to exist, and the body's going to respond having to work and rely on physical things, even liquids. When you go exclusively to the fields, then you're going up in full open arms and trust in your divine creator and soul to give you all the nourishment you need. It's absolutely two completely different experiences, and we don't want to put either one down or up. It's just different
Actually, we
experiences.
don't have the experience of being breatharians, you know. We're not breatharians, right? We do massive fast, we say, is a glorified dry fast. So we love dry fasting, but we are not breatharians. So we are not the people to talk about breatharianism because we're not.
Well, we're actually all breatharian. We all breathe. We all
Part-time.
are breathing. So
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, but I mean, we don't have that experience of no liquids at all for a long time. Gino has, you know, he does long drives, but we start drinking afterwards.
The substances, energy are quickly apparent. Yep. The garlic closes the throat for yourself. Well, it'll act differently in different people. Yep, absolutely. So water is a field, you're saying? Well, everything has fields. All living and things that we believe are non-living all have fields. Field strength. Everything has a different field strength. So yeah, water has a field strength. Absolutely.
Another thing I want, yeah. Go ahead.
All material things have fields, and also the non-material things have fields, like thoughts, which are exclusively fields. And the exclusivity of fields are what create all matter. So water is created through the fields. First comes the fields. Like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? The plasma, the fields. You know. So what had to happen? The field, the intent and the emotion of the creator had to manifest the field to create the physicality of the chicken. And then the chicken had to, you know, the chickens had to continue with procreation. So it always had to come from the fields first. You know, the egg couldn't have been manifested first, because what would have taken care of the egg? So the fields came first, in my opinion. Created the chickens. To mate, create the eggs, and continue.
Yeah, what I wanted to say also,
animals are formed instantaneously. There is evidence of that. The animals being manifested right in front of people's eyes. There's a story of a fellow from Australia, acquaintance, who witnessed a miraculous thing. I've shared this before. He was out in the woods, in the wilderness, and they had a crazy thunder and lightning storm. And right after the storm, there was puddles of water everywhere with fish in it. And there was no rivers or streams nearby for those fish to be to swim, you know, and get there. They were manifested right then and there. So this is why we have absolute no doubt that it all comes through the fields, because that's one witness example. I had another thing happen here when this area where when we moved in. This used to be all farmland at one time, but we moved in, and there was a really bad thunder and lightning storm one time, and then the next day there was frogs everywhere, thousands and thousands. They were being run over by. They were everywhere. It only happened that one time. So if we have the understanding, it all comes through the fields, but to have it happen in a material realm, the environments have to be correct. There has to be a certain environment for that creation to happen.
Another thing I wanted to mention is the dry fasting. You know, when some people report that they have kidney pains and stuff like that. Yeah, we have all kinds of you know, detox symptoms when we're master fasting. So I believe maybe this is people who are inexperienced with dry fasting. You know, they can experience all kinds of things, but that doesn't mean that their kidneys are not working. But it's very important to do things prudently, and that's what we love about master fast. It has 31-year experience behind it, and it's designed to be prudent and efficient.
Yeah, when people start dry fasting, they're going to see a lot of the weaknesses come to the surface, especially when you start getting into the long dry fast, and then you start drinking even liquids. you're going to notice all kinds of things happening, like your body holding on to excess fluids and so on and so forth. It's like a shock to the system when you start drinking again. As time goes on, as you master fasting and dry fasting, which is a glorified dry fast, you're going to see that start diminishing over time, and you'll be able to go longer and longer and longer on dry fast. It's just the way it happens. So it's just a matter of the body being able to express itself through the fields versus matter. Two different, completely, like I said, two completely different experiences and lifestyles. So you know, choose choose the level that you can live and love. If you're doing a lot of dry fasting and you feel that it's negative for you, back off on dry fasting. What can I tell you? For me, I look forward to doing longer and longer and longer dry fasts. That's the way I am, and that's the way I express
And
myself.
remember the sponge. Don't just
I
don't just squeeze, because when you squeeze, how can you wash the obstructions, right? You want to wet the sponge and then squeeze again, and then wet and then squeeze to release all the obstructions. If you just squeeze, you can dry. What do you say? Drown in your own filth.
drown in your own filth. That's the terminology.
Yeah, when you squeeze too much, you're detoxing,
Body
but
can't
you're
get
not
rid of
flushing.
the obstructions fast enough. Yeah, yes, Heather. Yes, I've heard that as well. Water and salt and thought. There was probably a wise man giggling in the corner. Oh, maybe I gained weight because I was drinking too much.
Your body can hold on to liquids. So if you overdrink and yeah, if you dry fasting, you can lose a lot of weight the more you dry. And then you drink more, like more than you need, you can hold on to the fluids.
Yeah, the intent and emotion is what's going to create the physical weight if you're living in a dry fasting state, but also in a drinking state. It's two different experiences. So for the most part, the dry fasting state, your body's going to hold on to less liquid because it doesn't need to deal with it. Doesn't need to hold on to it because there's less obstructions, less inflammation, so the body doesn't have to hold on to the liquid.
The liquid neutralizes obstructions.
So yeah, when you're a liquidarian, there's always going to be more obstructions, and the body needs to hold on to more fluids. So you're going to have more weight generally. Uh, we're not going to say that 100% because there's always exceptions to rules because we don't have all the answers, but everybody has all their answers by going within. Christina, the basis of Concord juice is water. Does it affect the kidneys the same as water? Absolutely not. It's not water, Concord juice. Sorry.
Concord
Christina.
juice is Concord juice, but for example, Welch's has some Concord juice from concentrate, and so they have to reconstitute with some water. So they're just replacing. Ideally, you want, if you can find for a good price, just pure Concord juice. But if you can't find, Welch's works beautifully as well. So it's just reconstituted.
No, that's not the question. The question is the juice. Juice is water. Juice is not water. When a plant takes in,
you mean like the pure Concord grape juice?
No,
you're talking about the pure Concord grape juice?
No, you're confusing me now. When a
plant, I'm asking you. I didn't understand your question.
When a plant is growing, people, the average person will say, for example, water is full of watermelon's full of water. It's not water, it's fluid, just like our bodies is not water, it's fluid. It's two different states. If you look at plasma water, you put water in it and then it's transformed, it's not water. It's a different state. It's not the same state as what water is. So no, we don't drink no water on master fast because what we found is water actually dehydrates you. It stresses out the organs and glands, especially the kidneys. And water is not a powerful purger, cleanser like the dark juices are. You know, the Concord grape juice is one of the recommended juices, but there's many other juices that we recommend, right? Pomegranate, watermelon could be used, berry juices, dark berry juices. Um,
Was that your question, Christina? That you're talking about the fruit juice being water? Or are you talking about water in the juice? Because some juices are diluted, or they are from concentrate and then reconstituted with water. But yeah, if it's the fruit juice, it's totally fine. It's the fruit
we,
juice.
you know, most people are looking at the physicality of the juice. When we cook the juice, we are only looking at the higher order of the juices. The physicality, we don't really pay too much attention to it. We use it for its for what it does in the physical to wash, but we don't pay much attention to it. What we want to pay attention to is what's happening on the higher order of the fields. That's the key, the field strength of the juice through the cooking.
Yeah, so she's talking about dilute, like I said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not diluting the juices ourselves, but if you're buying the
well, she's
reconstituted, yeah, they're reconstituted with water, and then they're pasteurized,
because it's concentrate.
so it becomes a different state.
Because it's concentrated juice. If it's not
Yeah.
concentrated, don't buy anything diluted. If it's from concentrate plus some water to reconstitute, then that's fine.
Yeah, like the Welch's that we have here, it depends where, is made with Concord grape juice and concentrate. It's
And
mixed.
some water.
I have been doing research on where to buy the best juice. All I found is from concentrate. Yeah, they all work, Christina. People have used all different forms of the juices. The best, most organic, biodegradable, what's it called?
Bio juice, whatever, organic.
biodynamic, et
Um,
cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody, even buying the cheapest juices, they all got results. If you drink water, you're not going to get the results you're going to get from master fasting.
you asked why no water or master fast. You'll find that answer, the answer to this question in the frequently asked questions page. It is written beautifully. So when you read it, you'll find the answer. But yeah, we are, like Gina mentioned, it doesn't really help. Water doesn't help. It's only obstructing. It's not really de-obstructing. The reason we do the master fast, and every ingredient and every part of the master fast is there to de-obstruct. Master fast is a de-obstructing protocol. Okay, so the juice, when it's cooked, it's very purging. It's all about de-obstruction. Dry fasting is definitely deep de-obstruction. What else? The plasma pudding helps you pull obstructions. The herbs are amazing for releasing obstructions from head to toe, really.
Emotions, mental,
and
physical.
Then you have the colon washing, which is definitely maybe the most effective form of de-obstructing the body. The fastest way to de-obstruct the body.
No, fasting is the fastest way.
Dry fasting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. If you're eating.
Yeah, I would, Christina, I would put the emphasis on which juice do you like the best, and forget about the best.
But
which one do you like and you can drink every day and not get tired of it? That's the one I would focus on.
And you know what? For most of us, trust me, we have done 108 days, some of us a couple of times. We tell you, Concord grape juice has been the most satisfying juice out of everything we have tried, because we tried everything, because we got bored a little bit of drinking the same thing, because we used to eat, we used to do different things, and all of a sudden we're just doing one thing for a long period. So we wanted to experiment, and pretty much everybody said Concord grape juice. I tried this, I tried that.
Well, it's in North America, it's readily available, Canada and US for the most part. England had it for a while, now they're having trouble getting it, which But any of the dark grape juices will work, or any of the other recommended juices will work.
and that,
So
yeah.
whatever you can find and enjoy, that's what I would put my focus on. People putting all their focus on, I got to get organic, I got to get biodegradable. Go ahead.
There are some people in Central America, for example, one lady, she was doing 108s as well, and she could not get the grape juice. It was extremely expensive for her to get it because it's imported. So she did watermelon for 108 days, and she had amazing results.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I would put my focus on, Christina. Um, that's to Darius. No water for me, only juice. I'm doing great.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You don't need any water. I was Christina. I was a big, massive advocate on water for years. Starting even before my fasting journey, my mother had purchased a water filter system for the house. So I never drank any tap water for many decades. And then I started doing a lot of research on water over the decades, and to get the best absolute water, spring water, filtration system, ionizing system, distiller, I went through all of that. And I was a big advocate of water. I went through a period drinking 3 to 5 liters of water a day. And you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be doing that. It just stresses the hell out of your freaking system, your kidneys and everything. If anybody needs to drink water, it's people are eating a lot of cooked food. And if you're going to drink water, a glass a day would be more than enough, because you need to help dilute the toxin, the obstructions from the foods you're eating. But for the most part, you don't need to drink water. If I look at all the old timers before the water propaganda, um, marketing started happening, which was probably started in the maybe 80s, maybe 90s. The people before then never carried bottled water with them since the beginning of time. It's only when all the propaganda and the marketing started that people started carrying bottled water with them.
Everybody says you have to drink, you have to drink.
Well, how did people exist since the beginning of time without the propaganda and the marketing? It's absolutely ludicrous. This is why I say, said earlier, science is frickin' gatekeeping. Stop paying attention to the sciences. Look for the alternative sciences, the quantum sciences, the plasma sciences. Forget about mainstream science. It's all pretty much caca to me. There's very little of it that we can use. They have some of the chemistry stuff for mixing chemicals and all that is important. But for as far as health is concerned, stay away from the sciences. Look where we're at because of these sciences. Freaking everybody wearing, over their muzzle. So yeah, fruits have so much water. Well, they don't have water; they have fluids. It's a different state. It's a different state completely, Anna. And this is where people mix things up. I can show you 10 different glasses of water, and they will all be in different states, and people all call it water. It's so. We don't have the understanding of all this stuff, and we don't need to have the understanding. What we have the understanding of is how to put our physicality in a state where the soul works in autopilot, and we don't have to know who, what, where, when, why, how. Isn't that amazing? We don't need to know any of the intellect stuff. It all does it automatically, autopilot. And we've seen this witnessed tens of thousands of times. So we can sit here and argue all day about it and discuss it.
But honestly, whatever you do, like massive fast is a great protocol, but make sure you have a strong foundation. Because without that, it can only be so efficient. You really want to have a strong foundation.
It'll be an event for most people.
And it will help you do it as a lifestyle.
Yeah. Eventing, the drama, that's what people are after. When the drama's all gone, they are gone. And they start pointing fingers at everybody except themselves. So we're not here to judge, but this is what happens when we point. Three are pointing back at us. So
Well, it's
let's
okay.
learn to look in the
We all
mirrors.
do it. We all do it. But
Let's learn to look in the mirrors of truth, and see ourselves for what we really are.
we're all here to learn. We're all here to learn. We have so much to learn on this earth. So let's be responsible.
Christina, thank you so much. You're welcome. This is wonderful times, very transformative times we are in, and we need to, put the effort and intent and emotion to gain the new understanding. That's it. Once we do that, everything starts to change, and it's going to be in steps of more. We're going to get a little more. We're going to gain a little more. We're going to gain a little more, and that's awesome. And I get hydrated when I eat watermelon. Therefore, I don't have to drink water.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Now, this is what it is about. Okay, this is how we see it in the Master Fast. There are foods that are more obstructive than other foods. So instead of saying even grape juice is hydrating, we don't even say that anymore. We used to at the beginning, but we don't say that anymore at all because it's not about it hydrating you. It's more about the obstructions. Okay, the more obstructed you are, the more it will
more thirsty.
The more thirsty you will be. The more obstructed, the more thirsty. So you feel that you want to drink water, right? So definitely watermelon is the least obstructive food, so it's much better for you than going for, let's say, a salty soup or something like that, right? Watermelon is going to be more or less obstructive, so better for you when you are obstructed.
So you don't get thirsty.
But even when we dry fast and drink grape juice, we don't say we're hydrating. It's more that we're flushing. We're flushing the obstructions that are released with the dry fast, because the dry fast releases a lot of obstructions.
We wash from above, we wash from below, we wash external. And
yeah.
We wash our spirit.
Yeah, and the water doesn't hydrate. The water again flushes, really. If for people who are very obstructed and feel thirsty, sure, they can drink water, but it's better for them to eat watermelon because it's more natural than water. It's more natural than water. If you go to a lake and you drink from the water, or to a well, then I would say sure, but I wouldn't drink not even filtered city water, because there's no point. There's really no point. I would eat watermelon.
Doing so much research on water, and if you're especially drinking any source of water from a city, if you understand about the fields, and there's millions of people in the city, just think about all those fields entering the water supply. All those fields, all those emotions, and you're drinking all that. You don't think that's going to affect you? Absolutely. That's why we did so much research for years on how to remove memory from water. And magnets are a really good way to do that. Very simply, powerful magnets, because magnet is a plasma. And what does plasma do? Plasmas always bring things to balance. The stronger fields feed the weaker fields to bring back the balance. So all those negative emotions from all the millions of people within a city are affecting that water. If you look at Dr. Emoto's work on water, brilliant. He passed away a few years back. So all our thoughts will change the state of water. And, if you're going to drink any water, best thing you can do over it is pray over it with all your intent and emotion through the heart, if that's all you have access to. So if you can eliminate interacting with all that negativity of all those fields, wouldn't it be beneficial, you think? I'm going to put the ball in your court. And for me, absolutely. Best thing I did in all these years was come to the discovery and understanding that I don't need to drink water ever again. That honestly, that was one of the best discoveries and understanding that I have gained over these decades. And that was a hard one for me to swallow. Just like it was hard for me to swallow raw is not law. And hard for me to swallow that it's not about diets. And hard for me to swallow, et cetera, from all the other different things that we talk about. It's just a way that we have to let our freaking ego go and allow the new understanding to come in and take place of the old indoctrination, because that's all it is. That we have to drink so much water, we have to eat so many meals, we have to get so many calories, so many vitamins, so many minerals, so many amino acids, so many fats. It's all freaking indoctrination from gatekeeping science. So anybody can believe whatever they want. That's my understanding, and that's what I share. And we've seen tremendous transformations, jaw-dropping transformations of people master fasting with this new understanding. So we can learn to embrace it and grow with it and expand and share and inspire each other, or we can resist and argue the facts. I'm done that. So I continue supporting and inspiring each other with the new understanding. And together we've been growing for 6 years amazingly. So yeah, this is the new understanding. And we just keep going, folks. We just keep going and going and going. We just scratched the surface with master fasting, and hopefully, we will be able to continue doing this for as long as we can. Just seeing the questions here on the chat. Good evening from Lisa. Just listening tonight. Can't grab a moment to talk. Yes, fast is a lifestyle. Fat on its own is not palatable. So we came to eat, disguised the taste of spice, salt, and sugar. I'm happy to listen and relearn, rehear, revisit all the elements of MFS. Yeah, that's why we're here. We want to love the lifestyle. So how can we love the lifestyle if we don't interact on a continual basis with people living and loving the lifestyle? I don't know. But for me, I've had to do it on my own for so many years, and I was in dire straits looking for people all over the place in the raw food world to embrace a fasting lifestyle. And it fell on deaf ears for the most part in the 30 plus years. Very, very few people grabbed onto it. But when I was able to get onto the social media, which I resisted for all those years, I thought people would be, I thought people were really interested and started going like crazy. But then the revelations came in that it was just all about the drama. Spiritual lifestyle is not, for the most part, of interest of people. They're into the materialistic drama of everything. That's what we've seen, and that's what we continue to see. It's sad to say, but it is what it is, and whatever. So we're here for the people who are ready to dwell in the spiritual aspect of the master fasting lifestyle and embrace that with all their hearts. And we continue to grow. We've had all ups and downs, every single one of us, in all these years, and life changes in an instant like that. life changes and you're going to go, wow, I'm never going to do this again. Yeah, okay. I'm never, life changes in an instant. And we've seen that over and over and over again with many people. So just embrace everything that comes our way and make the best of it. And, life is beautiful. We are in very transformative times now. We have a spiritual warfare going on full blast, and most people are oblivious to it. And they're bowing down to the elements of the new God with the little g, the white jackets. So stand up to truth, stand up for what's right, stand up to the divine, the creator, the source of all that is good. So, we'll leave it at that. If anybody's got a last question, or we'll bring it to a close. We've gone for a couple of hours. It's been a blast, as always. So we will continue. Plaf from Lisa. Plaf back to you, Lisa. Fasting is the lifestyle. And we put the spirit first and foremost. And when we do that, watch what happens. Everything will change in your life. Every aspect. And if you're not ready for that lifestyle and you invent it, you're not going to be a happy camper. Going back to food. So we highly suggest and recommend choosing one of the levels 2, 3 to start off with on the MFS levels, and embrace it. Enjoy it, live it, love it. Continue with the dry fasting, expand on the dry fasting every season change, which is every 3 months. So you can open that up as time goes on and watch what happens. Just saying, watch what happens. I came off of a very long, pretty much dry fast last season change, and it was quite an experience. So Heather, I've dabbled. What I find when I drink the grape is this bliss. Yeah, we all love grape juice. Well, most people. I've found very, very few people who don't like grape juice. Pretty much all children love grape, unless they've been brought up on exclusive junk food. But then stuff come out of my skin. Yeah, because it's a strong purger. It's very strong for purging. So we want to support ourselves on all levels so that the body can allow it to flow out, and we don't drown in our own filth, as the saying goes. So thank you so much, everybody. We will say a little prayer. We'll elevate all souls to peace, balance, correct conduct, especially all the leaders around the world, so that they move in that direction. And if they don't, they will pay the heavy consequences of living a very imbalanced lifestyle and having to face their souls for all they have done. Let's elevate all the other souls on the planet that they embrace their spirit, their soul, to move in the direction of peace, balance, correct conduct. And let's be the change we want to see on this planet, to be in a beautiful state of bliss 24/7 in ecstasy. Yes. And it's everything is possible. Nirvana. I'm in ecstasy when I drink that. No, actually, Nirvana states not juice particularly. Interesting. So see you, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
See you in the page. See you next Wednesday. And sorry, no sorry, Heather. All is well. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Heather.
Thank you for joining.